I hate you, Breeze Line. So, yay, interwebs, internet connection. You there, Stu, or are you?
I am here.
Okay, you didn't move there for a second, and
I'm being very still.
oh, okay, all right,
No particular reason, just being still. Ah, I
okay,
found it.
all right. Well, just wanted to make sure I was on the same. You know, we were on the same thing. Old Jim. Before I started understanding that different people communicate different ways, I would have been like, Stu, what are you doing? And it's kind of like a staff meeting.
Yes.
Um, but Susan's like, mm-hmm. Um, but see, I've changed, Stu. This four-letter thing has helped me to change a little bit.
Well, I think that's to be a good discussion today. Maybe we should talk about that.
We should talk about what? My inability to
Uh,
effectively lead a staff meeting and alienating my own family members.
learning to communicate by understanding your audience better.
Okay. Well, I think that would be good. I
Yeah.
think why do you think that would be important, Stu?
To understand your audience.
Yeah.
Um. Well, obviously, when we talk about understanding our audience, we kind of encapsulate all of that into the avatars that we use with the genies and wizards.
Right.
But there could be another level of that because personalities matter, right? And trigger points matter. Like why someone reacts a certain way to a statement that another person may react a different way.
Right.
Right?
And
You,
you're
you
like,
need
what
to
do you
understand those triggers.
right? Or were you also understanding, why do some people click and other people's don't? Other people's don't. Other people don't. Why do you there was a book that came out in the late 90s. I don't remember the title of it, but it was something like clicking or something like that. It was by an economist. And she went all the way around the horn on the idea of why some people click, why some ideas click, and why others don't. And what's interesting on that is that she never really explained. It was a very popular book, but she never really explained how to make something click with people.
Hmm.
And I think it's because she missed a fundamental idea, or she was just trying to sell books, that though all of us are different, we typically will fall into one of four categories, or a combination of a couple of different categories in what's called the DISC model. Now, I'm going to fully admit to you that I'm not certified in DISC, but I don't think that really matters, because you can kind of certify yourself in a topic if you're willing to dive into it and really learn as much as you can. So if you want to know basically what DISC is, I'm not going to teach a class on DISC, but DISC is a communication classification system. That's really what it is. It helps you to understand how people communicate. So D stands for dominance. Okay. A dominant person, those people are super, super direct. Okay. So it's dominance, influence, steadiness, conscientiousness. And so influence, those people are influential, whatever. I mean, it depends on whose disc thing you're doing. Is it dominance, influence, steadiness, conscientiousness, or whatever? Influence people are like, hey, I want to be the life of the party. I want to be the person that's out front. Whereas steadiness people want to be part of the group. And then the conscientiousness people are really focused in on the rules. That they were like the kid that would tell y'all you were playing the game wrong. Like we'd be out on the playground and like, dude, I know you would just, hey, let's just play. Like, I got a ball, let's just play. And I'd be like, hey, let's play. I'll be a captain, you be a captain. Let's pick kids and let's get this underway. Whereas the conscientiousness kid wants to discuss all the rules up front. The steadiness kid just wants to be a part of the team and be kind of the middle of the pack and make sure that they're doing a good job for the team. And the influential kid wants to get picked first, and wants to be like the loudmouth kid. So it's interesting because a lot of people want to make DISC this dyed in the wool thing, like it's doctrine. And if I'm offending you right now, that's cool. This is just my ideas, okay? My thoughts on this, because it's like the difference between biology and English class. Biology pretty much had, or algebra. Okay, algebra had right answers, wrong answers. English class had rules, but you operated within those rules and were able to create stuff. So that's what DISC is. DISC is a communication classification system where you can understand how people communicate and then be able to communicate with them better. That's really what DISC is. Does that help?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I was kind of like, my initial impressions of DISC was just like another form of like the Myers-Briggs, which I can see some similarities in a way, but it's a little bit different than a personality type. This is more of a
communication style.
How they communicate themselves, but how they perceive communications as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I would say that is accurate. And it's interesting that DISC is not really owned by somebody. It's not really copyrighted, or it's not a system that's owned. Like Myers-Briggs, I'm sure somebody owns that. Somebody else has invented a system that they own the rights to so that they can, have control. It's all about control and controlling the doctrine and the thought and all that good stuff. It's been interesting, this journey of understanding DISC and everything. It's just a great tool.
Sure.
But I think the big thing is, that's what it is. Now, what we wanted to talk about today was basically, why is DISC important and where do you use it? So let's divide that into two parts. Why is DISC important? Because, and let's refine that even more. Why is DISC important when it comes to sales copy and content, and where do you use it? All right. Now that's probably a better question, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Okay. So the reason why it's important is, number one, because it helps you understand your audience. And so if you can understand whether you're talking to the dominance person, or the influence person, or the steadiness person, or the conscientiousness person, you're gonna understand how to use words in order to be able to get your message across to them. It's not about manipulating them. It's about, in the case of sales copy, writing copy that actually resonates with them, that they're going to read it, see it, hear it, and go, wow, that makes sense. It removes friction, is really what it does. When you are communicating to somebody in their style, it's removing all the friction, or much of the friction of them having to translate or try to understand what you mean by what you're saying, which often that's where misunderstanding comes from. They're not understanding what you're saying. It also, next, helps you to tailor your messaging. So if you know that somebody, or the vast majority of people that you're communicating with, fall into like the DI, all right, the dominance and the influence, they're in that group together, then you know that in your sales copy you need to be very direct, and you also need to talk about how this is going to help improve or increase or enhance their social status. And you don't want to talk about all the nitty-gritty details about whatever it is, because they don't care. All they care about is, give me the bottom line, help me to understand how this is going to help me to elevate myself. So anytime you've ever been in a situation where somebody said to you, hey, just cut to the chase, in that moment, that person is in D. Okay, they're in the dominance because they're like, hey, cut to the chase. They're like, I don't want, just boil it down for me at the end of the day. All right, as opposed to if somebody says to you, hey, slow down, and I need to know what's going on here. I need you to lay it out for me step by step. When somebody says that, that's somebody who's in the conscientiousness or maybe in the SC. Okay, the steadiness, slow down, conscientiousness, lay it out for me step by step. Okay, so again, one of the things that people think is that this communication style is like you're always in that. And we do have default styles. Like I default as a high D, as just, you know, give me, you know, just get it. All right, but situationally, there are times when you will slide into the other communication styles. And as adults, especially if you're in a situation where something's unfamiliar, or where there's maybe some ego involved, or there's people that you care about involved, you know, as a dad, you might be reacting differently if you're trying to understand how something's going to impact your kids, like your son. He's going to be a junior in college this year, right? Yep. So I remember when the kid was in like the 5th grade, and but your demeanor changes in situations. Your communication style changes in different situations based on what's going on. So as copywriters, as content creators, we can't pigeonhole everybody all the time. We have to be aware of what their default style might be. So you're going after hard charging kids, hard charging people that want to be police officers or FBI agents or that kind of stuff. So, you know, by default, they might be very much driven in the D, okay? But they also might be C's. One of the reasons that they want to do that is because they want to know the rules. They want to enforce the rules. They want to, you know, do that. So I'm kind of running down the trail a little bit, but the important thing to understand is the concept here of why is it important? It's important because the way you communicate and how it's perceived is going to impact the quality of that reception. And the biggest mistake that people make is is assuming that their communication style is like the same as everybody else's. So this is just the way I communicate. It's almost like it's an excuse. And I've done it for years until my consciousness was raised about different styles and the classification of it, and understanding that my style doesn't matter. What matters is their style. It's my responsibility as the transmitter of the message to understand how they receive the message so I can increase the effectiveness of it. So, and with that in mind, then the second part of what we're talking about, where do you use it? Where do you use this DISC stuff? And the answer to that is anywhere you're communicating with somebody. Ads, emails, sales letters, articles, Facebook Lives, all that stuff.
Presentations,
understanding. And it's not like it's cheating or anything. It's you're able to persuade people. You're able to have massive, major impact and engagement because you're talking in a way that's resonating with them. Have you ever listened to a speaker that you're just like, dude, this guy's boring the crap out of me. Now that could be presentation skills and stuff, but I remember back when I worked for banks, or I was working for, I was working in real estate and stuff, there were certain times that I would go see somebody and it was amazing. Like I went and saw Zig Ziglar speak, and it was really cool. I went and saw somebody else speak. I won't say their name, and I was bored to tears. It was like listening to nails across a chalkboard. And so you've got to understand, but if you do understand, you use it everywhere. You become hypersensitized to it. Now, you don't want to go overboard where you're immobilized in your ability to communicate with people because you're trying to figure out what to say before you say it, like you're over analyzing. But if you just pay attention and understand the propensities of your audience, then you can start trying to address the overwhelming majority of them, or as many of them as you can. And one of the things that just it's going to automatically do is it's going to eliminate objections, because one of the reasons why people object is because they have ideas in their head of what you should be telling them, or what they need to hear in order to buy. Whereas if you are communicating them in a way that resonates, there are going to be fewer objections. Let me give you an example. So if you're writing a sales letter and you write it just for D's, for people in dominance, all right? So everything is just bottom line, and it's real high level, and it's all about them. The D's are going to read it and go, oh, okay, yep, this is going to tell me what I need to know. This is going to do what I need to do. I'll go ahead and buy it. But somebody who is rules-based is going to be like, dude, you're not telling me anything. All you're doing is telling me all these general things about what I'm going to get, but you're not telling me how I'm going to get it. You're not telling me how much it's going to cost me to do it. You're not telling me what software I'm going to need to be able to do this. And then the influence and the steadiness people are like, well, okay, this all sounds great, but it worked for you. Is it going to work for me? Where are the testimonials? Where are the customer stories? Where are the things to illustrate that this actually works? And then the influencers are going to be like, well, hey, how is this going to help me? How, I mean, yeah, I'm going to get this result, but how am I going to benefit by doing that? How am I going to get a payoff from doing it? So if you understand that, then you understand now why sales letters, and I'm going a lot more in depth, and it's probably going to have about 4 different things that we pull out of this, but it really explains why you have to structure sales copy the way you do, because you have to do the bullets in a certain way so that you're going to nail the dominance people. You got to have testimonials and proof in there to nail the steadiness people. You need to go into, hey, here's exactly what you're going to get and what it's going to do for you, to nail the conscientiousness people. And then you have to paint the big picture of the payoff for the influence people, and or for when people slide in and out of these different things. I mean, that's, once I kind of understood this, I understand why you got to have those parts in different stuff. But depending on the predominant style of your peeps, that's going to dictate maybe leaning into one of those areas more. You might have, if you know that you got people that are seriously into the influence stuff, then, or an influence style, you might have a lot more case studies about how people, what the results were that they got from something. Okay, so you got like a bunch of case studies, but not just the case studies, but the case studies showing the big results that people got that built their status up. As opposed to if you're selling to a bunch of engineers, which would be in the conscientiousness, you're going to lay out, it's almost like your sales copy turns into a spec sheet because they got to know everything before they're going to sign up. So anyway, the bottom line, just to wrap this up, is by using DISC in your sales copy and content, it creates a communication stream that's consistent with what these people want. Nobody cares what you think. They only care what they think and how they want to receive the stuff. And when you understand that, if you let go of that ego and you say, okay, how can I communicate with them in a way that's going to be most effective for them? Just by making that decision in your sales copy, you're going to be able to really start seeing some pretty dramatic results pretty quickly. So
I like that, Jim. Hey, do you mind if I take a 1-minute shot at summing this up?
Oh, go for it.
All right. So let me share something with you, because as a podcast producer and partner of Jim Edwards, when Jim Edwards said we're going to talk about DISC, I have to first learn about what DISC is, right? Because 2 weeks ago, I didn't know what DISC was, right? But I found something.
I got a book coming out you can read.
I can't wait. I found something that's, I don't want to say it's even better than your book, but it is like a one-stop shop for understanding how this works, right?
Okay.
And I can't say I made it. I found it. Don't even know who to credit. But let me share this with you.
Okay.
And
I sent show something on the screen. Okay.
Yep. I sent it to Susan, and she can send it to you too. It's just a picture infographic of DISC. And the things this says here, I don't know if you can read it, but it's all the priorities, what it's motivated by, your fears. You will notice this when you speak to a DISC a person in one of the things. And the things that, like everything Jim said, is right here in this one-stop shop for DISC.
Right. The only objection I have to the way that's laid out, don't close it, is that it, to me, in my reading of it, it doesn't say DISC, it says DICS.
Oh, okay.
So
DIS. Oh, it goes in a big circle, though. You got to see it as a
when
circle.
We made, I know what you have to see it as, but I'm just saying. So when we did the cover of our book, which I'll show you guys next time, we switched the I and the C. Yes, I know that flies in the face. I mean, I'm like the trailer park DISC expert now, but we turned it into where it reads as DISC, not DICS. So there you go.
Well, something I really liked here is, like, you will notice immediately if you're talking to a dominant person, if you notice self-confidence, directness, forcefulness, and risk-taking. You'll notice if you're talking to an influencer, charm, enthusiasm, sociability, talkative, optimism. You'll know if you're talking to a steadfast as patient,
steadiness.
Steadiness. Yeah, sorry. Team player, calm approach, good listener, humility. You'll know if you're talking to conscientiousness on the DISC side is precision, analysis, skepticism, reserve, quiet. I think those are really neat little triggers for you to thoroughly understand, okay, I need to address it this way. And when you hit that trigger, it should give you one of 4 options to now make your communication. So I know it's longer than a minute, but I just wanted to share that with you, Jim.
No, that's good. I like that. You did send that over to Susan?
Yep.
So cool. Yeah, I want to look at that. I just think I think it's fascinating, though, to understand. It's like the veil has been taken off of my eyes, and it has explained to me why certain things worked and why certain things didn't work for me in the past, talking to people, why you could meet somebody and have instant rapport,
and meet
somebody else and be like, it's like this person's an alien. It's like we're speaking English, but we are speaking a totally different language. They just don't get it. And when you take responsibility as the transmitter of the information, especially in sales copy and content, and you have that awareness, it's transformational. It also removes a lot of the frustration, because you say, okay, the reason this isn't working is because I'm not communicating this right. It's on me. It's my responsibility to change my communication so they can understand. They don't adapt to me. It's like chapter 4 of my book, page 23. Just saying, nobody cares about you and your sales copy. People aren't interested in you. They're interested in themselves. Dale Carnegie. That's what this is. That's like at a most fundamental level, you refusing to adapt your communication style to someone else is the ultimate selfish act when it comes to copying content. It's stupid, but I was stupid for a long time, but I'm not stupid anymore. So it's kind of like, your buddy that gets Christianity, man. I mean, they're out there preaching. I guess that's where I am with this thing. It's like I've seen the light, and now I gotta share it with everybody.
You're very, something I have noticed, and after learning a little bit about DISC, and the people who I now realize who are really good at DISC, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
they didn't even know it, are people who are good at sales, right? Their whole profession is sales. And notice I didn't just say they're in sales. They're good at sales, and they make a lot of
Right.
money in sales. They are exceptional at this. And when you go to a party with them, they got you captivated. You're hanging out with them. You're having fun.
Yes.
They know how to communicate in this style.
And they know how to be empathetic. And that's a critical thing, because there are a lot of people who can make it. And I tried to do this in sales, the hard driver, hit 'em hammer approach, which I took for years, which fit with my personality style, or maybe reinforced my dominant personality style. But you're right. The people who are super, super successful in sales are capable of adapting to their audience, whether it's an audience of one that's right in front of you, might be a spouse or a customer or a kid or whatever, or an unseen audience of tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands through an email. That's very good insight there, Mr. Stu.
Thank you, sir.
That's good stuff. So now the question anybody should ask is,
let's see some DISC in action.
okay, how can the genies help us? That would be the thing I'd want to know. How can the genies help us?
Yeah, where do you use DISC?
Right. Well, here's the thing. How do we use DISC with the genies? How are the genies? I mean, this is the CopyAndContent.AI report. This is not, and I see Keith asked a couple of cool questions. I think Keith changed his picture, though. I didn't recognize him. He changed his profile pic. So I'm like, who is this dude? Oh, yeah. Keith. Okay. Yeah, Keith, so let me show you. Probably the coolest way is with the avatar, because with your avatar, the AI genies can help you to actually figure out the communication style of your avatar. And it's going to help you. Keith says, no, I have 2 profiles. Thank you. Oh, okay. It's kind of like you have 2 cell phones. One you don't want your wife to find out about. Nice, Keith. But this is going to help you. So let's load Stu's avatar, the special operations candidate. So this is a younger guy or gal who wants to serve in the military, specifically in special operations. So we fill out the thing. You're my avatar, inspiring special operations candidate, dreams to become a special forces operator. You want to crush your fitness test, serve in special operations. You'd be ecstatic if you could crush the fitness test. Right now, you got to figure out how to get rid of physical weaknesses. You're really frustrated. It's a long, I ought to change this. It's a long, expensive process of joining the military. You're on this jag of saving money. We won't worry about that right now.
Money and time.
And so, okay, we're going to change that one just a little bit because you'd be like frustrated by long, tedious, expensive process that takes a long time. We're just gonna put all that in there. So now we're telling their story a little bit. So now we want to know, okay, well, what would their DISC communication style be? Now, Stu had his little handout and all that stuff that he shared. And so we're going to have you guys guess ahead of time based on who this person is. All right. They want to be a special forces operator. They want to crush the test. They want to get rid of physical weaknesses. They're frustrated that this is long and all this other stuff. You guys tell me in the comments, is this a D? Is this an I? Is this an S? Is this a C? What is this person? Let's test your knowledge. Let's test your ability to go up against the genie. What do you think? Keith says it's a D. And people are asking some cool questions too. So we're gonna have some good questions at the end here.
Okay.
But Keith says it would be a D. What do you think, Stu? Based on your newfound knowledge, my rambling for 20 minutes and that cool infographic you found. What do you think?
Well, the combination of almost 30 years of working with these people and my newfound knowledge, I would definitely say D and I.
Okay, so a DI. Okay.
Yeah,
Derek
I really think because
Keith says a D. Don says a D. I think it's a D as well. I don't even think, but a D.
Okay, and be honest with you though, Jim, I tried to coach them to be a better S.
Ooh, right? A better team player.
I try to get them to be, have some patience with the process, be a better team player.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I like that. So again, this is Kentucky windage. Let me just say something real quick. All right. Because I know there's some people, anytime you have doctrine, people start flipping out. Okay. They're like, they get into that. There's an exception to every rule type thing. Here's how I look at DISC. All right. I'm not going to become a professor or something like that. But Stu, you and I live on the East Coast. All right. You live in what direction from me? North. And I live in what direction of you?
South.
If you want to go to Maine, which direction do you go?
I keep going north.
If you want to go to California, which way do you go?
I go west.
Back home to Florida?
Go south.
And if you want to get real wet for a real long time, which way do you go? East. Right. Yeah. Okay. Do I need a compass to understand the direction? No. Do I need a GPS to understand the direction? No. I understand that these 4 basic directions ultimately are going to take me to a very different destination. At this point, that is the only level of understanding that you really need to be able to start making a big difference, because no matter how much you want to, you can't head north and get to Florida unless you go all the way around the earth. And at some point, you'll stop going north and start going south. Okay? That's my whole point here. That's the whole point of this. So if you know, I love people that get so engrossed in the rules and so engrossed in this thing that they want to argue. And it's like, I'm not going to argue with anybody about this. I found this cool tool and I'm using it and getting great results with it. And you can agree with me or disagree with me, and I don't care. I'll agree with you either way. If you think I'm an idiot and I'm hijacking this, you're right. If you think I've discovered something that's amazing, you're right. Okay. So the tool is helping you do that north, south, east, west direction pointing. Now, something else cool that we got in here, though, we got your avatar's basic motivators. So again, understanding the avatar, the more you can know about them, the more you can understand them. But this is talking about basic motivators, just the basic motivation for these people. What are they motivated by? They're motivated by achievement. They're motivated by service. They're motivated by a challenge, and they're also motivated by frustration. They're frustrated. They're moving forward because they're frustrated, and this is something that you could address. Now, does this sound like these guys that you've worked with for the last 20, 30 years, Stu? Are they motivated by achievement, service, and a challenge, and are they feeling a level of frustration that actually drives them forward to take action?
Absolutely.
Okay. Are you just agreeing with me because you're trying to stay on the timeline we established for the show?
No, I mean, there's a couple other things too, like competition and winning and success, but also, you know, social recognition,
Okay.
group activities,
Okay.
teamwork stuff. So yeah, I mean, there's multiple things, but yes, this is really targeting.
This is dialing it in.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're going to talk about primary motivation triggers. If you want to know what primary motivation triggers are from the standpoint of sales copy, in Copywriting Secrets on what page, Stu? Hold it up again.
Page 16.
Page 16. All right. I'm screwing myself when we come out with version 2. That it won't be, I have to make sure it's page 16 again. Top 10 reasons why anybody buys. Make money, save time, avoid effort, escape pain. What are the rest of them?
Get more comfort, achieve greater cleanliness, gain praise, feel more loved, increase their popularity, status, or social status.
Right. Okay. So now, wouldn't it be great if we could understand the primary motivation triggers based on that list for this group? Yes, it would. So now look at this. They want to escape pain. They want to escape physical pain. Is that true? The aspiring special operation candidate is frustrated by physical weaknesses and wants to overcome them. They may view their current situation as painful and uncomfortable, but mentally and physically have strong motivation to escape and improve themselves. Achieve greater cleanliness or hygiene to attain better health. So this is what happens when you overly try to simplify stuff. But better health, become healthier, become stronger. You know, it's saying that they want to become a better swimmer, runner, physical health. You still with me, Stu?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're
okay. I don't know what happened to my camera. Yeah.
Can you unplug it and plug it back in?
I'm working on it.
Okay. And then gain praise. You know, they want to be praised not only by their peers, their trainers, superiors. One other thing though, and if you're like, it sounds like BS, then you hit it again. One thing that I'll remove the old Stu. Okay, you were there like twice. One of the things that also this might be, and so it's like save time, and this means it's not 100% sure, but could also be increased status. You know, that's a lot of guys want to be cool because they want to be cool. So everybody will think they're cool and they can look cool, be cool, act cool. What's the rule? You know, always be cool. If you always get lost, seen that rule number 1, be cool.
Look cool.
So this is just one of the small ways that this can help you, because now let's say we wanted to write some Facebook ads, and we'll do this real quick because we got to do the lightning round, and then I want to hit some questions from people. But if we go in and go to the Facebook FB Ad Genie, all right, we're going to load Stu's avatar. I think for a while, Stu didn't understand that this avatar was like available to everybody. He was kind of like this whole thing.
I was using it like that. I didn't even save my avatar. I was just using what everybody else was using.
That's right. So, but the discommunication we set on this is going to be DI or D. and then we'll do our Gary Halbert copywriter style. But now let's come down here to the disc one. I'm going to write the first ad in each category. So we'll do one based on the Genie style. We'll do one based on, and I know I'm jumping around a lot and I'm totally being bad, but okay. So this one's based on the style that I put in there. So this is based on an ad for how to crush fitness tests. You ready to take on the challenge of becoming a member of Special Operations? It's not easy, but with the right prep and motivation, you can make it happen. Get all the tips and tricks you need to crush the fitness test and make it through buds with this critical article, Getting to and Through Buds. Click now to get started. It's not a bad ad. That's a decent ad. That shows you understand your avatar. Now, let's look at that same ad, but this is aimed directly at a D. Are you an aspiring special operations candidate? Get to and through buds with the help of our new article, Getting to and Through Buds. Learn the best strategies to crush the fitness test and prepare for the toughest of challenges. Get the guidance you need to succeed and take the next step in your military career. Unlock the success you've been dreaming of with Getting to and Through Buds. So very action oriented. And now down here, Gary Halbert's going to be like, you have the courage and determination to serve your country in special operations, but the physical fitness test stands in your way. You can rise to the challenge with our proven system for getting to and through buds. With our step-in-step instruction and expert guidance, you'll be ready to take the test and pass with flying colors. Don't let the fitness test hold you back. Take your place in Spec Ops today. So 3 very different ads, same message, 3 very different ads. And let's do this. I'm just going to go up here real quick. I'm not going to generate them all again. Let's change this to the C. All right. And okay, we're just going to generate. Now the C is rules based, right? This is somebody nitty gritty.
Yeah.
So let's see what this does.
Procedures. Yeah.
Okay, so are you an aspiring special operations candidate? Get the inside scoop on passing the fitness test with our exclusive article, Getting to and Through. Learn the best strategies and techniques for crushing the fitness test and make sure your Spec Ops dream becomes a reality. Read our article today and start your journey. Now notice, none of the other ones said anything about learning the strategies and techniques. This is saying, okay, you're going to learn strategies and techniques. Whereas, let's do the steadiness one. Let's do the influence one first. We can do these pretty quick. So the influence one, based on just what you know about this just right now, what would you say the influence one is going to be focused on?
I don't know, Jim.
Okay, well, I would say it would be about how you're going to be actualized. Okay, how this is going to help you to, just be more. So are you ready to take the next step?
Okay.
With the right preparation training, you could be on your way to achieving your dreams. See, actualizing it. Getting to and through buds is a must read to help you prepare for the physical and mental challenges you will face. Get the insight you need to crush the fitness test. Take your first steps on your path to success. Click now to read the article. So it doesn't say anything about insider techniques or anything like that. It's about you. This is about your dream. This is about you achieving what you set out to do.
I like that.
So the S, the steadiness one, this is, in my opinion, this is going to create an ad that is more, it's going to be for just like, here's how you do it. Okay. This is how you're going to get through it. And Keith made a good point. He said, so DISC comes in handy with split testing. Absolutely. Because it's not just testing words, it's testing communication.
Smart.
So are you aspiring to join the ranks of special operations? Do you dream of pushing yourself to the physical and mental limits to become a member of this elite group? To make your dream reality, you need to be prepared to pass fitness tests. Get the information you need to crush these tests with our article. Learn how to get ready and make it through the grueling preparatory process while maintaining your physical and mental health. With our comprehensive tips and advice, you can make your dream a reality. Read our article, take the first steps. So it's like, hey, here's how you're going to get it done. All right. But it's it's like, let's do this type thing. It's subtle. That's what I'm saying.
It was also be a part of a group, be a part of that team.
Yes. Become a member of this elite group. And that was the first one that mentioned that, isn't it?
Yep.
Being a member of the group. You're absolutely right. So the great thing about what the genies will do is that, and you combine that with the avatar, is that it helps you to be able to figure this stuff out and be able to start moving west, start moving south, start moving north or moving east, not jerking around trying to figure out an exact compass heading, because you'll never have an exact compass heading. If you want to come south towards my house, what highway do you take, Stu?
95.
If that one's not available, which one do you take?
301
to 17.
Or no, 13.
I mean,
yeah, 13.
Yeah.
13 to 17. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The point is, I know I got to go, and depending on the situation, I can adapt from there. So that's what I'm trying to get across to everybody. So I think it's time for the lightning round, Stu.
I would agree.
Okay.
So let me explain what the lightning round is. We're going to ask Jim a question, and if you have them, that's great. We may even ask one of yours, and he has a minute to answer it.
Less than a minute.
Less than a minute to answer it.
Okay. Let me get my little timer because I'll be, man, no. I'm like, Jim, do you understand what a minute is? I think so. I'm not real good at it. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take the whole screen in case I have to jump over to the board, but I'm only going to give myself the 1 minute. All right, Stu, what's the first one?
Well, let's start off with why is DISC important to our sales?
That's not the first question. You got to scroll down to the bottom. Oh, did somebody ask that question?
No, I just came up with it.
Okay, well, look down at the part where it says 10:30, hot seat with Jim, rapid fire questions on this week's topic.
Oh, I didn't scroll down deep enough. I see.
I know, man. You got to get down deep into it, man.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay.
So I'm
it's
just
first time we've done this.
Yes, it is true. Are DISC communication styles just another manipulation tool for advertisers?
Okay. So a lot of people might think that this is all about manipulation, because with DISC, you're actually getting really deep into the way people communicate and the way that they actually receive the information. And what you need to understand is that DISC is a tool, and you can use a tool for good or bad, just like you would use a chainsaw or a knife or a branding iron or something else. You can use it to injure people, or you can use it to create amazing results. A knife can help you cut food, or it can kill people. Thing to understand with DISC is that it can definitely be used to manipulate people. But what it comes down to is the intention of the person using the tool, whether they're going to use it for good or use it for ill. And I know that you're going to use it for good, especially in your copywriting and other communication.
Boom.
All right.
Nicely done.
That was, I even had the little timer. Okay. What's the next one?
Sales copy secrets, exploiting DISC communication styles for profit. Is it ethical to use DISC in your sales copy?
So the question of, is it ethical to use DISC in your sales copy? Here's the reality. You're already using DISC communication styles in your sales copy, in your content, in whatever it is that you're doing. The big difference is I want you to start using it on purpose, because what most people do is they default to their default DISC communication style, whatever that is. And so what ends up happening is the people that they're talking to, if they're using that same style, great, message received. But you got about a 75% chance that they're not your exact same style. And so now you're using words and mannerisms and just an approach that is doomed to failure. So it's not manipulation, it's good business and smart to use DISC. Oh.
Damn. Time is moving fast.
I know. It's like, oh my God. Okay.
All right. You ready?
Yes.
Psychological warfare, how advertisers deceive with disc profiles and ads. Can advertisers deceive people using disc in your sales copy or ads?
Now, here's the truth. Advertisers can use disc to be deceitful. But the thing is, that just means they want to be deceitful. Disc in and of itself doesn't make an ad deceitful. It just makes it more deceitful or more effective. It comes down to the intention of the person that's putting out the sales copy, putting out the message. It has nothing to do with disc. If you're going to be deceitful, disc will make you more effective at being deceitful. If you're going to tell the truth, you're going to actually be helpful for people and have great intentions, then disc is going to help you to do exactly that. It's kind of like alcohol with an alcoholic. If you give them alcohol, you're going to see exactly who they are. Disc is a tool. Remember that. Yeah, I didn't like that last little euphemism I threw in there. Let's do that.
Let's do that one again.
I didn't like that one. We'll do that again.
I would agree.
Okay.
Not a good analogy.
Well, it wasn't the one that I wanted to tell. It's like alcohol. Alcohol intensifies someone's existing personality.
Sure.
Alcohol, I mean, if you're a nice person and you have a couple of drinks, you probably make you nicer. If you're a jerk, then your jerkiness is going to come out when you've had a few beers.
True.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Somebody said, what is disc? You need to watch a replay, brother.
Google that stuff. That's what I did. Google it.
I got a book coming out on this.
You'll find a nice little infographic.
That's right.
Explains it all.
All right.
All right. You ready to do it again?
Yeah, why not?
All right.
Redo.
Can advertisers deceive people using disc in sales copy or ads?
So can advertisers use disc to be deceitful? Absolutely. The same way an advertiser could use disc to create an incredibly effective message that helps people understand how a product or service would be the best thing since sliced bread for them. It's a tool. If somebody is deceitful, they can use disc to be more deceitful. If they are good-hearted and actually trying to help people, then they can use disc to actually convey that message as well. Comes down to the transmitter of the information. But in and of itself, disc cannot be deceitful. All it does is help to convey the message to the receiver better. That's all it does. Disc makes the message more palatable, more acceptable, and more understandable.
Boom. I like that.
Okay.
You ready? Question 4?
Sure. This is definitely the lightning round.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. You wrote an article the other day about empathy as a sales tactic. How is leveraging empathy not a manipulation of people's emotions?
Okay, so some people think that disc is manipulation because it helps you to be more empathetic with people. So empathy is defined as the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. So how is understanding somebody's feelings manipulation? It's not. It can't be. It's like saying a hug is manipulation, or having an intimate conversation is manipulation, or telling somebody you're sorry is manipulation. It's not manipulation. Empathy means that you actually took the time to understand how somebody feels before you start running off at the mouth or bombarding them with emails or ads or other stuff. I actually see being empathetic and using disc as a sign of respect and love, not as manipulation.
I like that one.
I need a better time. I need a better timer, but this is the first time we've done this, kids.
All right, you ready?
Sure.
Let's do it. Does using disc actually serve the customer, or is it just a tool to make more sales?
So some people think that disc is not about serving the customer. It's a self-serving thing, and it's about just making more sales. That's the wrong attitude. All right. DISC is all about effective communication, whether it's one-to-one, one-to-many, one to a whole bunch out there in the remote world. But where most people think of DISC, they think of it in person or in groups or in those kind of settings. But the power, real power, as far as I'm concerned, is in the ability to write better sales copy, to write more effective messages. And better copy means that actually the right audience gets the right message. They get a clearer, more effective message. How can that be wrong? Because the right people are getting the right message, but the people who aren't the right fit are going to see it immediately and they're going to move on, which saves everybody time. So I think it's the ultimate customer service.
Nice.
Okay, cool. So that was the lightning round. We lost a bunch of people on that. They were like, what the heck is going on here? We went from however many we had to however many we had, but that's okay.
We'll figure it out. Maybe we only do 3 next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a couple minutes for user questions. We saw some people ask some questions. You seeing those in the private chat, Stu?
Yes.
And then we had a couple other ones. So hit me with those real quick. Maybe we'll do those in a minute or less.
Keith had some really good questions.
Okay.
Let's see. Does storytelling and copy bleed all over the DISC categories?
It's an interesting analogy, but I think that communication is communication. And when you're telling stories, depending on who you're talking to, if you're talking to a D, the dominance, you would want to tell the story in such a way that it, got to the results or showed the results of the actions of the characters and stuff, as opposed to the influence probably would want to know how that character was feeling, what the impact was with all the other characters. The steadiness one would want to know, how's all this stuff moving forward? How does all this stuff tie together? And then the conscientiousness would want to know what all the, what's happening in the background, what's the lead up to this, what's the plot line, where's this going, kind of stuff. So
what were the procedures followed?
Yeah.
I like that. I like that question because I'm going to try it. Next article I write, I'll write kind of a story, maybe a history of something, and I'm going to have 4 paragraphs in there. And this is going to be a 4-paragraph story where I hit all the DISC elements.
What I'm going to do, since this is Genie Week, and we're wrapping this up here in a minute, I'm going to see if I can add the DISC to the to one of the story genies, because I don't think I have, and I want to see how that impacts the way it tells a story. So I'll do that.
I may even try it with the hero's journey.
Yeah.
Mix it in with that. Mix it in, but make sure my paragraphs are reading in that manner.
Yeah, that's a cool one. All right, one last question, and then we got to wrap this up.
Let's see. What do we have? So as a trainer, I would adapt my style according to the learning styles of participants. So would it help to create and prescribe our products and courses to appeal to specific DISC styles?
So sure. In a theoretical answer, absolutely. And you should blah, 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 that whole thing. In a practical sense, what you're after is the DISC style situationally specific as it relates to what it is you are selling. So somebody who's looking to buy, or someone who would be looking to buy or open to buying whatever it is you're selling, is probably in a specific mindset. All right. So a salesperson looking to find new prospecting techniques is going to respond to a certain thing. okay, to certain sales copy, as opposed to a salesperson who is looking to how to build a policies and procedures manual for an assistant. Okay. So I wouldn't try to hit all four at once. I would try to determine what is the predominant communication style of my best customers for whatever it is I'm selling. And best customers defined as someone that knows they have a need for what you're selling, recognizes that they have it, is wanting to satisfy that need and has the money to pay for it, and has a reason to act now. With that in mind, figure out what their communication style is and start with that. Otherwise, you could be out there, you know, trying to cover so much ground you won't get anything. So that would be my answer to that question. So it's just, this is really neat area, especially in copy and content, that we're opening up in here. And like I said, I mean, I've got book that I've co-authored that's coming out here in the next couple of weeks. We're actually going to release it at the John Maxwell event. But the thing to understand is that this is a tool like any other tool. And it's sometimes as much about feel as it is about substance. And so you just got to understand, it's just fun. This is neat. And if you're excited and interested in this, check out CopyAndContent.AI. I got to run because I've got an 11 o'clock that I'm already 2 minutes late for. But Stu, you did a great job. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate all of our existing customers. Thank you. If you're not a customer yet, you need to be. Best decision you'll ever make is being a member of CopyAndContent.AI. So everybody have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.